I think the nature of the future global leader is a leader who understands the interconnectedness of global challenges, a leader who understands the interdependence between countries, the interdependence between communities, which means when you craft solutions for your country, you take into account what is good for the region. When you craft solutions for your nation, you take into account what is good for the world. But more importantly, you address HIV/AIDS, you address nuclear weapons, you address climate change in a holistic manner, because all these challenges are interconnected. Coming from Africa, we would want to make sure that we also address African challenges that are peculiar to us. For example, we want to move from being resource-based economies to economies based on manufacturing and services. We want to move up the global value chain. We want to be independent of aid. We want to depend on investment and the utilization of our natural resources efficiently.
My watchword is transcultural, and I use it all the time, and really what I mean is worldly. I think future leaders have to have exposure to a lot of places, a lot of issues, a lot of cultures, and the opportunity to understand them and really apply it in the way they run the business.
First of all, I think it's obvious that future leaders will have to consider their ecological and their social footprint in everything they do. So it's not only about growing your company and earning money. Earning money and growing your company is a means to an end. I think what we need from tomorrow's leaders is to actually have a vision, a clear vision for the world, and wanting to create something that's actually positive for other people, increasing other people's dignity. I think that's sort of the bottom line of what tomorrow's leaders should be aiming for. That said, when I go to schools around Norway and around the world and talk to kids, I tell them that you're already a leader. Every single person is a leader. Every time you open your mouth, every time you say something to your friends, or when you're playing soccer or whatever, you're actually showing your own attitudes and your own aspirations, etc. And other people can be inspired by that. And it's not about how much you can. How much you have that you can give away. It's how you use the resources you actually have. So it's administering those resources in a positive, constructive way, and actually putting your efforts to creating a better world with increased dignity for other people.
Well, I believe leaders need followers, and the people who are going to be able to obtain followers are those that have very strong interpersonal skills and strong people skills, and they're going to be able to motivate and excite our workforce and be able to attract them. And they also have to have vision and a sense of optimism, and otherwise you're not going to have followers. And I believe that's the best way to define a leader, is someone who has followers, and those strong people skills are just simply essential.
We believe it's not only having IQ and EQ, but CQ, which is the cultural quotient, which is the ability to navigate through different cultures across the globe. And in these markets, it's important to have a sense of humor.
Actually, I wrote once a book about Alexander the Great, who was a global leader, conquered the world in 12 and a half years, on foot, by the way. So many characteristics of global leaders of that time are still the same as they are now. But in general, I mean, you talk about leadership, I think some elements any leader needs to have, and they can put some pluses on it. One is, of course, has to do with providing focus. People need focus, a certain amount of focus, and we need it at the moment, particularly because of the crisis. Second, to get the best out of people, which means that you have some serious EQ. I mean, Alexander the Great, quoting him, he had some in the beginning. He became later a god. He was a bad. He became more pathological when he became a god. But he had a sense of how to get the best out of people. People have different talents. Third, it is decisiveness. You have to make decisions. And then coming to the global leader aspect, the global, it really has to do with openness to experience. That you have a sense of cultural relativity. That you don't think, you don't have this ethnocentricity. My culture is better than yours. The narcissism of minor differences. And that's not that easy sometimes, because we have a tendency to split, which is a danger at the moment also. So exposure to other cultures early in life is very good, exchange programs. And for example, a program like the World Economic, again, the fellows, it's a fantastic exchange. And that's the way you start to see how other people behave, and that's the way to do it.
The future will be very, very demanding on global leaders. I believe two features will be more important than ever. One, to avoid uniformity. What we have seen in the crisis is a herd behavior by leaders, by business leaders in particular, and a leader needs to keep an ability to assess with his own mind. Secondly, the ability to learn from mistakes, including his or her own mistake, so as to adjust, to avoid repetition, and to take the best out of that.
Well, the old model of the leader, a great visionary who sells a vision down to their organization or institution, Lee Iacocca, everyone will go with the K car. This model is completely inappropriate for the new geopolitical environment. We need leaders who can help people understand their self-interest, who can enable teamwork and collaboration, and who set the context whereby human capital can become unleashed for innovation, for performance, and for social justice.
Well, certainly knowledge is very often important, and I'm in the knowledge business, but I think more than anything, leaders are people who others want to follow. And you can be anointed as a leader, but that doesn't do much good unless other people have confidence in you and are ready to follow. I think more than anything, a leader has to have authenticity. And what that means is that there's a sincerity, people believe what that person says, and people are ready to follow that particular individual.
I think apart from being technically brilliant and a person of charisma, I think the qualities one will be looking for a leader in next century is somebody who is deeply conscious of his or her social responsibility. I think one is looking forward to a more tolerant world, more cooperative world, and a world in which interculture and communication skills will be essential.